They say family is supposed to have your back no matter what. But what happens when the people who raised you treat you like you're invisible, only reaching out when they need something? This is the story of how I went from being the strong kid who could handle himself to the one who finally said enough, and how that changed everything. I, 30 never had a bad childhood. At least, that's what I used to tell myself. No abuse, no yelling, no tragic events. But there was something else. Something quieter, more subtle. My younger sister Lily, now 27F, was always the little girl who needed help. My parents treated her like a delicate glass figurine. If she tripped, the world stopped. If she cried, they coddled her like a royal. If she failed, it was someone else's fault. Me? I was the boy who could handle himself. That was their favorite line whenever I needed something. You're strong. You're smart. You've got it figured out. Your sister's just not like you. They said it like it was a compliment, and maybe it would have been if they hadn't used it as an excuse to abandon me emotionally and financially. In elementary school, they helped Lily with every project. In high school, they'd email her teachers if she didn't like a grade. When I had a breakdown studying for final senior year, they told me to tough it out. I worked through college. Full-time job, night classes, instant ramen for dinner 5 days a week. My parents didn't offer a single cent. Not because they didn't have it, they just didn't think I needed it. Meanwhile, Lily changed her major 3 times, dropped classes every semester, and got mental health breaks every few months that somehow included beach vacations. And guess who funded that? Yeah, I didn't mind at first. Or at least, I told myself I didn't. I was too focused on surviving to dwell on it. But things change when you finally make it. At 26, I got into a fast-rising tech company. By 28, I was leading a team. Now, I make more money than both my parents ever did. I bought a sleek apartment, started saving, finally started living. That's when the calls started. It wasn't, "Hi, how are you?" It was, "Sweetie, your dad and I are struggling with some bills this month. Honey, Lily's rent is a little high this time. Could you spot her just once? Your sister's car broke down, and she needs it to get to work. You know your sister's trying so hard. She just needs a little support." And I gave it. I wired money without questions. I bought them new appliances, paid off a few medical bills, sent Lily a chunk for emergencies. But the emergencies never ended. I started noticing weird things. My mom slipped once and thanked me for the concert tickets. Lily posted a picture from a spa retreat. Dad said he couldn't afford car repairs, yet they showed up in photos with a brand new one in the background. Something was off. I wasn't just being kind, I was being used. And the worst part? They never even said thank you. That's when I decided to do something I hadn't done since I was a kid. I stopped being the son who could just handle it. It all started with a bank notification. I'd just sent $800 to my mom's account. She said the furnace was broken and they were freezing. Okay, fine. A few hours later, I was scrolling Instagram while eating lunch when Lily's story popped up. She was lounging in a fluffy robe, sipping champagne with a caption that read, "Spa days are essential for mental health nail polish sparkles." I stared at it for a full minute. Then another post appeared, her and a friend at some trendy sushi place, laughing over cocktails. I remembered the name of the place. It wasn't cheap. Not by a long shot. I texted Mom. "Thought the furnace was broken?" She replied, "It was, but we're trying to help your sister feel better. She's been so stressed. It's hard for her." Right. I let it go. But now my radar was up. I started logging every transaction I made for them. Every Zelle, Venmo, Wire, whatever. I added it all up. In the past 2 years, I'd sent over $18,000. $18,000. I called my mom a few days later. Just casually, like I was catching up. I asked if the furnace ever got fixed. She hesitated. Said they ended up managing without it. I asked about Lily. Is she okay? Still working at that marketing job? Silence. Then she said, "Oh, no, that didn't work out. The team was really toxic. It wasn't her fault. You know how sensitive she is." Sensitive. Right. So I dug a little deeper. I didn't want to be paranoid, but something told me there was more. I reached out to one of Lily's old college friends, someone I'd met at a family dinner once. I casually brought up that I hoped Lily was doing well with her job. "Oh," she said, "Lily hasn't worked since spring. She said your parents are supporting her while she figures out what she really wants to do." Figures out what she wants to do? She's 27. And here I was, covering her rent while she was getting massages and bottomless mimosas. I felt sick, betrayed, stupid, furious. But most of all, I felt done. Done being the dependable son who could handle it. Done funding their delusion. Done watching Lily play princess while I got treated like her ATM. It wasn't just about the money. It was the years. The decades of being second priority because I didn't need help. But now I was going to teach them a lesson. Not just a lesson. They were going to feel the weight of every time they said I was fine on my own. And I was going to make sure they never forgot it. So yeah, I was furious. But I knew if I just blew up on them, they'd twist it. You're overreacting, or we didn't mean it that way, or my favorite. We just thought you were doing so well. No, this time, I needed to prove it. So I set a trap. I told them I got a raise. That wasn't a lie. I had just gotten promoted to senior project lead. But I exaggerated the salary a bit, made it sound more glamorous. Just enough bait. As expected, the floodgates opened. First, it was Mom. "Oh, sweetie, we're so proud of you. You've always been so responsible. By the way, your dad and I were thinking it might be time to redo the roof." Then Dad chimed in. "We can't keep living like this, son. The car's old, the bills are piling up. Just a little help, and we'll be fine." Then Lily. "Hey big bro, I'm thinking of starting a little business. Maybe an Etsy shop for my crystals and spiritual stuff. I just need like $2,500 for supplies and branding. You totally get it, right?" Yep, just like I thought. So I played along. Told them I'd be happy to help, but I needed receipts this time. I said my financial advisor, aka totally made-up person, required me to keep everything documented now that my income was higher. That's when things got interesting. My mom started stalling. My dad forgot to send the bills. Lily flat out ghosted me for 2 weeks. Then, finally, I got an email from her with a single screenshot of an Amazon cart full of beauty products, crystals, and, get this, a $600 ring light setup. I called her. I needed to hear it from her mouth. "Hey, Lily," I said, keeping my voice calm. "Just got your list. That's not exactly startup equipment." She laughed. "Well, I mean, I'll probably do YouTube too. I want to make something of myself, not just slave away in an office like you." "Oh, like me?" I asked. "Lily, do you even want to work? Or do you just want to play entrepreneur with other people's money?" Silence. Then she snapped. "Don't talk down to me. You've always been jealous that Mom and Dad care more about me. Admit it. You've always been bitter." That's when something inside me flipped. I wasn't bitter. I was done. Done playing the provider. Done pretending I didn't see what was going on. It was time to stop being the backup plan. It was time to become the consequence. After that phone call with Lily, I sat in silence for a long time. Not because I was hurt. No, not anymore. I'd been through that phase already. This was different. This was strategy. They didn't just lie to me. They weren't just mooching. They were entitled to it. They truly believed I owed them. That it was my job to fund their fantasy, to keep poor little Lily comfortable while she played adult dress-up and failed upward. And the worst part? My parents weren't just enabling her. They were protecting her. Like I was some outsider. Like they were a team, and I was just the wallet. So I put my plan into motion. I started with phase 1. Cut the cord quietly. No announcement. No drama. I just stopped. No more Zelle transfers. No more emergency payments. Every time they asked, I stalled. "I'll check with my advisor. Let me get back to you. Things are a bit tight this month." Then I started redirecting them. I suggested they talk to Lily. She's got free time. Maybe she could help out around the house. They hated that. My dad literally scoffed and said, "She's not built for that kind of pressure." Pressure? Like working 50 hours a week during college to stay afloat? Sure. Guess that was just my thing. Phase 2, exposure. I reached out to a few extended family members, my aunt, my cousin, even my grandma. Just casual conversations, sharing my concerns. I told them how much I'd been sending, how Lily had been spending. And just like that, the family chat started heating up. One cousin posted, "Wait, your parents said their retirement money was gone because of medical bills, but they bought Lily a new MacBook?" Another replied, "They asked me to lend them $400 last month. Said it was for groceries." I didn't even have to blow anything up. The dominoes were already falling. And still I waited, watching, letting the tension build. Then came phase 3, the setup. My parents called one night, both of them on speaker. My mom's voice was syrupy sweet. "We were just wondering if you could help Lily with her apartment deposit. She found a place with great vibes, and she really needs a fresh start after everything she's been through. Everything she's been through? I said, sure. Absolutely. I'll handle it. They were thrilled. Thanked me like I was some saint. Lily even texted me, all fake affection and emojis. I told them I'd send the money the following Friday. Gave them the exact amount and said I'd wire it. They planned everything around it. But Friday came and went, and I sent nothing. Not a dime. The silence was deafening. That Friday morning, I turned off my phone. Completely. No texts. No calls. No way for them to reach me. I wanted them to feel it. That creeping panic. That moment when the ATM spits out insufficient funds, and you realize your safety net just vanished. The same kind of fear I lived with through college, scraping by on pennies while they poured their energy and my money into Lily's ego. I turned my phone back on the next afternoon. 27 missed calls. 13 voicemails. 14 texts from Lily. My parents' messages started off gentle. Hey honey, just checking in. Maybe the wire was delayed. Then they got urgent. Please call us back. We're at the leasing office with Lily. They need the money today. Then angry. We raised you better than this. Don't do this to your sister. She needs you. And Lily? Lily went straight for guilt. WTF? You promised. You made me look like an idiot. Do you know how humiliating this is? Then, you're such a selfish Cole. I hope you rot in your shiny apartment. That was the moment I knew my plan was working. They weren't grateful. They weren't sorry. They were entitled, furious that their cash machine had suddenly gone offline. Not once did they ask, are you okay? Or did something happen? It was all about them. So I decided to take it further. That evening, I sent a single message to the family group chat. Yes, the whole family won. Hey everyone. Just wanted to let you know I won't be sending money to mom and dad anymore. Or Lily. It's been almost $20,000 over the last couple years. I asked for receipts. Got spa photos. I asked for honesty. Got lies. I'm done. I left the chat. 10 minutes later, I started getting private messages from cousins. From my aunt. Even my uncle, who barely talks to anyone. Turns out, my parents had borrowed money from everyone. Always with a different excuse. Medical stuff. Home repairs. Helping our son get on his feet. That one stung. They played all of us. But now, their game was up. I sat back in my chair and took a long sip of coffee. It was only the beginning. I didn't have to wait long. The next day, Lily showed up at my apartment. Uninvited. I don't even know how she got in the building. Probably sweet-talked someone at the front desk or caught the door behind a delivery guy. But there she was, standing at my door in oversized sunglasses, holding a tote bag that probably cost more than my monthly groceries in college. She barged in before I could say a word. What the hell is wrong with you? She snapped, tossing her bag on my couch like she owned the place. Do you enjoy humiliating me? Is that it? I stayed calm. Quiet. Let her rant. You promised, you said you'd send it. I signed the lease. I put down the security fee with my own card. Now it's bouncing, and they're threatening to report me to collections. I raised an eyebrow. Wait, you have a card in your name? She blinked, confused. Yeah, Dad co-signed it. Of course he did. So let me get this straight, I said. You made financial commitments based on money I hadn't even sent yet. She huffed. Because you said you would. You said you'd help your family. No, I replied. I said I'd help if I saw where the money was going. Instead, I saw spa days, sushi nights, crystal candles, and you quitting every job after 3 weeks. She scoffed. Those places were toxic. They didn't understand my creativity. Or your work ethic, I muttered. She exploded. You've always been like this. Acting like you're better than everyone just because you suffered a little. Well, guess what? I had it hard too. I had anxiety. I had pressure. I didn't get to be myself because I was always being compared to you. That was rich. I almost laughed. You got compared to me? I said slowly. Lily, you were the standard. You got bailed out every time you failed. You got coddled while I got told to figure it out. You were the princess, and I was the foot soldier. She stared at me like I'd slapped her. Good. Let it sink in. Do you even realize what it's like to work yourself to the bone, knowing your own parents would never come through for you? To scrape and claw your way to a place where you can finally breathe, only to be guilt-tripped into funding someone else's fantasy? I'm your sister, she screamed. Family helps each other. I stepped closer, dropped my voice. Then help yourself. For once. She stormed out. slamming the door behind her so hard a picture frame tilted. I didn't move. I didn't feel sad. I felt free. After Lily's meltdown at my apartment, the silence didn't last long. Less than 24 hours later, I got the call from my mom. Her voice was the perfect mix of disappointment and emotional manipulation. If guilt tripping was an Olympic sport, she'd have taken gold. I heard Lily came to see you. She's very upset, sweetheart. You didn't have to embarrass her like that. She's going through a hard time. We're family. We're supposed to lift each other up, not tear each other down. I let her talk. Then I asked one question. Mom, why is it always my job to lift her up, but never the other way around? Silence. I continued. Where were you when I was falling asleep at 2 a.m. on my laptop, trying to pass finals after a double shift at the gas station? Where was this support when I needed help with tuition or rent? You didn't even offer. You just assumed I'd manage. And now that I have, you treat me like your personal credit card. She started to cry. I don't think she expected me to push back. We just knew you'd be okay. You're strong. But Lily, she's always been so sensitive. I snapped. She's not sensitive. She's spoiled. There's a difference. And you didn't raise her to be strong. You raised her to expect the world to fix itself around her. Another long pause. Then she dropped the bomb. If you don't want to help us anymore, fine. But don't be surprised if we decide to take a step back from your life too. We're a family, but clearly, you don't care about that anymore. Oh, there it was. The emotional blackmail. The we'll cut you off if you don't keep paying us, disguised as a heartfelt farewell. So I replied, calmly, clearly. You already did step back. Years ago. You just didn't notice because I kept showing up anyway. That's over now. Then I hung up. No yelling. No begging. No drama. And for the first time in years, the weight slid off my shoulders like a coat I should have shed a decade ago. But that wasn't the end. Because what happened next? Well, let's just say the consequences started hitting back. About a week after that final phone call with my mom, I started getting screenshots. First from a cousin, then a former neighbor, then one of Lily's old college friends I barely remembered but had kept on social media. All of them had seen the same thing, a Facebook post from my mother. It read, "We've always tried to raise our children with love and fairness. But sadly, not all hearts grow with gratitude. Watching your own child turn cold and selfish after all your sacrifices is a pain no parent deserves. Please keep our family in your prayers." Cue the sympathy parade. Comment after comment rolled in. You don't deserve this. Some kids forget where they came from. Stay strong. You did your best. What happened to my name? He used to be such a sweet boy. They were painting me like I'd abandoned them in a hospital bed. Not like a son who'd been quietly sending money for years while they funneled it into their grown daughter's lifestyle of leisure. I didn't respond right away. I let it sit. But others? They didn't. My cousin Sarah, the same one who had once lent my parents $400, was furious. She commented publicly, "Is this the same son who paid your bills for 2 years straight? Who covered Lily's rent while she posted spa selfies? I remember you asking me for money while pretending it was for groceries. Should I share the receipts?" Boom. Then a second cousin chimed in. "Didn't you say he was too proud to ask for help when he was living out of his car in college? And now he's selfish because he stopped funding your vacations?" The thread exploded. Family members started comparing notes. How many times they'd lent money, how many different stories they'd been told. Everyone realized the same pattern. Guilt trips, emotional manipulation, money disappearing without explanation. And the best part? Lily tried to defend them. She commented under Sarah's post with, "You don't know what really happened. He's just angry because he never got enough attention growing up. It's not our fault he's bitter." Sarah replied, "If you're so confident, show us how much money you've earned in the last 2 years. Oh wait, never mind. Spa days don't pay a salary." Mic drop. By the end of the week, my parents quietly deleted the original post. No apology. No update. Just silence. The illusion was breaking. Their reputation? Cracking in real time. And me? I was just getting started. After the Facebook fallout, I figured they'd go quiet. Maybe try to regroup. Maybe, just maybe, feel a little shame. But nope. They doubled down. I got an email from my dad. Not a call. Not a message. An actual, formal email. Like we were doing business now. "Son, regardless of your feelings, we are still your family. Your mother and I are disappointed with how you've turned this into a public spectacle. We think it's best you apologize to Lily and to us. You've humiliated your family. If you're ready to move past this, we'll accept your apology and allow you back into our lives. Allow me back. I read that line 5 times. I wasn't sure if I should laugh, scream, or print it out and frame it as a reminder of just how delusional they were. So I responded, "Thanks for the clarity. Now I know exactly how you see me. Here's how I see you. Users, liars, and manipulators. You didn't want a son. You wanted a provider. You don't miss me. You miss the money. So let me make this very simple. I'm not coming back. And I'm not sorry." Then I did something I'd been thinking about for weeks. I sent a message to Lily's new landlord. I still had the contact info she'd emailed me before I promised to send her deposit. I let the landlord know she might be using fraudulent proof of income and possibly applying under false pretenses. Turns out she had. She'd sent him a fake offer letter she wrote herself. Claimed she was employed by me at my company. He was livid. She got a 3-day notice to vacate before she even moved in. And when she tried to talk her way out of it, she blamed me for setting her up, which was rich, considering she literally forged an employment document in my name. She called me that night, screaming, crying, cursing. "You ruined my life. I didn't even flinch. You tried to fake one to begin with. I just gave you what you deserved." Then I hung up. I blocked her number, blocked my parents, locked down every account, changed passwords, noticed a few suspicious login attempts on my Venmo and banking apps. Not saying it was them, but let's just say I wasn't taking chances anymore. And then I got peace. No calls, no drama, no emotional blackmail, just silence. And I realized something. They didn't actually love me. They loved the version of me who kept quiet and kept paying. That version was gone. It was about a month of blissful silence. I focused on work, started dating again, hit the gym more, even planned a vacation for the first time in forever without factoring in emergencies from home. For the first time in years, I felt like my life was actually mine. Then came the letter. Not an email, not a text, a handwritten letter. From my mother. It was delivered to my building's front desk. No return address, just my name on the envelope in her swirling cursive handwriting that I hadn't seen in years. I stared at it for a while before opening it. I don't know what I expected. An apology? A cry for help? A threat? It was all three. "We've been talking to a family lawyer," it began. "It's come to our attention that parents can file for financial support from their adult children under certain conditions, especially if there was a long-term history of support. If we choose to pursue this, it wouldn't be personal. It's just about ensuring fairness and stability." They were threatening to sue me, not out of desperation, not because they were starving, but because I'd cut off the free-flowing money tap. They were going to try and force me into being their ATM legally. I sat there, reading that line over and over. It wouldn't be personal. Oh, it was personal now. They'd rather take me to court than admit they raised their daughter to be useless and treated their son like a workhorse. So I called my lawyer. We'd already talked casually before about setting boundaries and protections after I started pulling away. But this? He went full shark mode. We gathered everything. Proof of all payments I'd made over the years. Screenshots of Lily's posts with items clearly funded by emergency money. Messages from extended family corroborating my story. Even the fake employment letter she sent to that landlord. He drafted a letter of his own, a cease and desist with a clear warning. Any attempt to pursue financial dependency or parental support will be met with a counterclaim of fraud, financial exploitation, and misrepresentation. We sent it via certified mail, with delivery confirmation. Then we waited. 3 days later, I got a single email. From my dad. No subject line. Just 3 words. "You've made yourself clear." That was the last time I ever heard from either of them. No lawsuit. No one more favor. Just nothing. Checkmate. After the legal threat, silence reigned on my end. I thought that would be the end of it. But life has a way of balancing things out, sometimes brutally. A few months later, I heard from an old college friend of mine who still kept in touch with Lily. She told me Lily had finally hit rock bottom. The landlord's eviction notice was just the start. Lily had bounced from job to job, and without family bailouts, those jobs stopped coming. Her savings drained fast. All those spa days, trendy dinners, and expensive hobbies weren't cheap. She was evicted from her apartment and forced to move back in with my parents. The same parents who were now distancing themselves from her, because without my money, their funds had dried up too. Lily's charm wore off fast. She tried to lean on her parents, but they barely had anything left for her. Her once endless supply of gifts stopped. The car that Dad helped her get was repossessed. The business she dreamed of? Crushed by reality and unpaid bills. She called me once. Her voice was different. No anger, no entitlement, just exhaustion. "Can you help me?" she asked quietly. I wanted to say no. I wanted to watch her finally learn what it meant to be responsible. But somewhere deep down, maybe the brother buried under years of neglect and pain, I said yes. Not the money, not the bailouts, but help finding a real job, help fixing her resume, help figuring out how to stand on her own 2 feet. It wasn't about being her ATM anymore. It was about giving her the tools I never got. It was the hardest thing I've ever done. But for the first time, maybe we could start over, as real family, not a fantasy. Helping Lily wasn't easy. The spoiled, entitled version of her didn't disappear overnight. She was defensive, impatient, and sometimes downright rude. Old habits die hard. This whole experience shattered a lot of illusions I had about family and love. I learned that love isn't just words or family slogans. It's actions, support when you need it, respect for your boundaries, honesty, and fairness. I learned that sometimes the people who should have your back are the ones who put the most weight on your shoulders instead. I learned that enabling bad behavior doesn't help anyone, even if it's disguised as support. And I learned that setting boundaries isn't betrayal. It's survival. Most of all, I learned that I'm not responsible for fixing everyone's mistakes. I can be kind and helpful, but not at the cost of my own well-being. For the first time in a long time, I'm proud of myself. Not just for my career or money, but for standing up to the people who should have cared the most. And honestly, that's worth more than any paycheck. But I stuck with it, helped her update her resume, practiced interview questions, even took her to job fairs. I introduced her to people I trusted in my network. Slowly, she landed a part-time position at a small marketing firm. It wasn't glamorous, and the pay was barely enough, but it was a start. For the first time, she had to show up on time, meet deadlines, and deal with coworkers she couldn't just boss around or manipulate. And you know what? She started to grow. She started to understand what responsibility really meant. As for my parents, they kept their distance. They rarely called or checked in. I think the silence was their punishment. One day, my mom finally reached out after 6 months of nothing. Her message was short. "We hope you and Lily are doing well." No apologies. No explanations. I didn't respond. Maybe someday they'll want to rebuild. Maybe someday I'll be ready. But for now, I'm focused on moving forward, not looking back. Now, I'm focused on building a future that's truly mine. I'm investing in myself, mentally, emotionally, and financially. I'm saving, yes, but also making time for the things that matter. Real friendships, hobbies I love, and yes, a little fun without guilt. I'm cautious about who I trust and what I give. No more blindly throwing money or energy at people who don't respect me. I'm learning to say no without fear. And I'm working on my relationship with Lily, slowly, carefully, and with clear boundaries. We're not perfect, but we're trying. Most importantly, I'm finally starting to feel like I have a family I choose, not just the one I was born into. And that feels pretty damn good. So that's my story. The son who was expected to be fine on his own, the sibling who got overlooked, and the family drama that nearly broke me. I don't share this for pity or drama. I share it because maybe someone out there feels the same way. Trapped, taken for granted, stuck playing a role that's not theirs. If you're that person, here's what I want you to know. You're not alone. It's okay to set boundaries. It's okay to walk away from toxic relationships, even if they're family. And it's never selfish to put your own well-being first. Revenge? Yeah, I did that too, but it wasn't about hurting them. It was about waking them up, about reclaiming my life. Today, I'm stronger, wiser, and finally free.